What is up, guys? I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and now we're looking at r/Tales from Retail. It's been a while since we looked at this one, so I thought, why the hell not? If you're new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too. And a huge thank you to the members of our channel. You are truly appreciated and just shock me every day. And with that being said, let's get straight in to today's stories. Much love, guys. Our first story comes from Alva Holt. 24 years ago and still worst customer ever. When I was in high school, I worked as a cashier at a grocery store, and after one bad day, my dad told me that there are people in this world that are miserable in their own lives and seek out people like cashiers they can abuse to make themselves feel better. I've worked other customer service jobs, one in tech support which was brutal, but still my worst customer ever was from the days as a cashier. There is no other way to describe this person. I was waiting for my next customer and a woman was pushing her cart towards my line when this older woman in an electric cart runs into the other ladies and pushes into the line. She then stopped and yelled at me to put her stuff on the conveyor belt. I did this, and when I got behind the register again, she yelled at me to go slow so she could make sure I was doing it right. I rang each item up slowly and started bagging. She yelled that she wanted the bags light and double bagged, so I went to do that. Apparently, I wasn't doing that right because she yelled that she didn't want double plastic. She wanted double paper and double plastic. 4 total bags for every 2 to 4 items. I didn't argue, I just wanted her out of my line because she was really abrasive and abusive. When I was done bagging, she yelled that I needed to put her groceries in her cart. When I was done, since apparently I didn't give her the reaction she wanted from her complaining about my job and making me do all that ridiculous stuff, she aimed a bit higher. She decided that a 16-year-old female cashier who obviously had confidence issues, otherworldly, why she wouldn't have stood up against the abuse at one point, and showed nothing but courtesy, was an appropriate person to abuse further. She said to me exactly this: "If you just cut your hair, you could see what you were doing." As my hair had not been in my face, despite the fact that I was letting my bangs grow out, this was just a final jab from someone who was so bitter in her own life she wanted to make a teenager cry or get angry. That didn't make it hurt less. Didn't make me less angry, but because I wasn't going to let her see me cry, I clenched my teeth and said as calmly as I could, "Mom, I can see just fine as is," and let her go without another word. The woman behind her is still the best customer I've ever had, because despite my supervisor and manager witnessing this older woman and me having colleagues on both sides of me that were much older, she was the only one who cared. She apologised for the woman in front of me, said my hair was nice, told me not to let rude people get me down, and asked if I was alright, and thanked me for everything. Someone was really brutal in the comments below and said, "Look at it this way, she's dead now." Damn. I don't know what is wrong with people in this world to do this though, to just pick on some young teenager who's probably just recently got their job and they just pick on them there's no need. Why do people do this? I don't understand people sometimes. Our next story comes from Daisy0723. Guy came into my store with a gun. I work in a small neighbourhood market. I have a customer who is, judging by the light show he has installed on his bicycle, a meth head. He came in the other night and had a pistol tucked into his belt with his shirt tucked in behind it. I told him I wasn't comfortable with him bringing a gun into my store. He assured me it was perfectly safe and it was open carry, and if I happened to be robbed while he was in the store, he could shoot the robber. I asked him if the gun was registered, if he had a license for it. If he went to a shooting range to practice using it. He said, "Oh yes, of course I do." I asked him if I could see his license and open carry permit. He said no. He then told me a funny story about how he almost shot his foot when the gun went off accidentally. How does someone who is trained with firearms let a gun go off accidentally? But since I am a lowly worker bee, I have no real authority, so I rang him up and got him out as fast as I could. The next day I told the boss. She's been running this store for 30 years and can tell you the family history of nearly everyone in the neighbourhood. This moron spent 2 years in jail for a failed bank robbery. Who tries to rob a bank on a bike? This guy. The boss told him if he ever brought his gun into the store again, I'm allowed to tell him to leave and to call the cops. So far he has left the gun at home. Thanks for reading. Just got a mental image of this guy with like lights all over his wheels and stuff just turning up to a bank and running in. And it just fills you with confidence that he, in one sentence, he tells you he can defend the store if someone tries to rob it, followed by he shot himself in the foot. goddamn methods. Our next story is from Purge. Tales from the farmer's market. Today, a customer made me cry. This does not happen often. I work with my great friend, a local farmer, at a number of farmers markets. I've been doing this for almost 16 years. I love my job and have made some great friends with regular customers. With the current pandemic situation, two things have happened. Firstly, we've had to change how we set the stand up and sell to customers. It's a lot more work as we have to select, bag the goodies that people would normally pick themselves. Wearing masks and gloves makes things a little tougher, but our regulars appreciate the extra effort and let us know. Secondly, the situation has polarised people. Most people are patient and understanding, and very few either don't get it or don't care. We've had to sack a couple of people and chastise a few. Actually, there is a third thing. We're much busier than usual. For whatever reason, people either appreciate being out in the open or are reluctant to shop in grocery stores. In any case, we are rushed off our feet today, with 2 people serving customers and 1 taking cash. Both teams working hand over fist to keep people moving. A steady line of people needing change is hard because we like to shoot the breeze with the customers, and right now that's not possible for the most part. In any case, having gently shooed off 1 chatty regular so I could serve the next gentleman, the following conversation took place. I said, "You have a large bag of salad mix, $10 if you would." The gent handed me a $100 bill. "Do some kindness with this." I said, "Oh no, that's $100, I must give you change." He said, "No, I want you to give some food to those who need it." And I said, "But it's $100. And he said, "I'm sure you'll find a way to use it." And I said, "Well, we do that anyway. We donate a lot of our food to good causes," which we do. We often have a surplus at the end of a market, and if we think it would spoil before we sell it, or there's a lot of product, we donate it to food banks. The gent then says, "Well, I want you to use this. I'm sure you'll find a way." I'm speechless for a moment, which is quite rare. This is a $90 donation. Finally, I thank him profusely, wishing I could give him a huge hug. He walked off without saying another word. I had tears in my eyes as I explained to the farmer what had just happened. He and I discussed how to manage it, and we decided that it will cover some debt forgiveness and some discounts to people we know are financially embarrassed at the moment. I misty-eyed as I typed this, so please forgive any errors of typoing or formatting. We've had a few people pay for others' produce. If they only have credit cards, we only take cash, and we've been generous with a few who are in need. But this is a stand-up example of how to truly care for others during the crisis. And I know that there are other stories of generosity out there. To all you out there in retail service land, I say a big thank you and keep holding it together. May your nitwit customers be few and your kind ones be many. And we have a wholesome story. I think we need one of these every now and then just to level us off, you know. We get a lot of triggering stories, so when we get a nice wholesome story, especially when you read the title and you think, oh fucking hell, here we go. But it turns out to be wholesome in the end. Praise the Lord. Whatever Lord that may be. Our next story comes from Nintendo. Honestly, I'm just dumbfounded. I got a job at a certain unionized grocery chain recently. The one that's half an hour drive from my home compared to the one that's 2 blocks away, but that's not important. I understand it's stressful right now, but there's no reason to take it out on a store employee. It might not have even been stress. Today, I had a customer come in with his wife and child and had a reasonable amount of food on the conveyor belt. Asked him how his day was and all that, and he's acting pretty jovial, amazingly enough. Now, we institute a limit on pork products recently, something about factories shutting down, and he's got 3 while our limit is 2. They're all sausages, and I tell him, we have a limit on pork products, it's only 2 per household right now. And he's perfectly content and jokes, "Oh, do the sausages count?" So I respond in a pretty matter-of-fact tone, because I just kind of gloss over humour and the like after a while. I don't have time to formulate sentences completely correctly, that yes, the sausages do because they are pork. Now I understand that could have been seen as me insulting his intelligence or something, but it was really just me saying, yeah, it counts, sorry about that. He just goes off the rails, his entire demeanour changes, and he just goes, "You know what, leave the sausages, just leave everything." He starts hurling expletives at me, not yelling them surprisingly, and just straight up leaves without any of the stuff he is going to pay for. He just leaves his stuff for my co-workers and I to clean up. He didn't yell or throw the stuff around or break anything, but it was still an incredibly bad response to someone accidentally sassing you. I feel bad for the wife and kid. They probably have to deal with him being an embarrassment a lot. I got a feeling he probably knew this limit on pork, that he was trying to be nice and smarmy around you, expecting you to let him off just this once in the typical Karen fashion, you know. Good on you for not letting him though. Our next story is from Ye Hawley 82. the difference between buy one get one free and half off. I used to work at a retail store that frequently had buy one get one sales. A lot of times the signage on the floors would precariously place so that people would see the sign but not read the fine print to see that only certain items apply. Well, one day a lady bought 2 items, and when I was checking her out, they rang up full price. She immediately complained that it was supposed to be buy one get one, and when I explained that it wasn't, she threw a fit, insisting I was wrong. So the protocol here is to have an employee on the floor verify the price of the items, even though I already know for certain that I am correct. Employee comes back and says the items are full price. I tell the customer she can use a 30% off coupon for one, but she is still angry. So I call the manager, and manager tells me to give her the discount she wants. So here's where it gets good. I say, okay ma'am, I've taken half off both of the items to get the price you requested. The customer said, no, it's buy one get one free. I want one free. I said, yes of course, but because of the way our system works, the only way I can get the same price is to take half off each item. I can't give you a 100% discount on one item. I have to charge you something for it. Then the customer says, but you said I could get one free. I want my free item. I'm trying not to roll my eyes. The only way I can do that is to charge you 1 penny for that item because the system requires it to cost something. Is that okay? The customer says, I guess that's fine, but I should get it free. The manager said it would be free. So I had to start all over and charged her the penny and requested a break the second she walked out the door. Edit, my title is a little confusing. I wish I could change it. Our sale was buy one get one free. She bought 2 of the same item that didn't apply to the sale, but because she complained, the manager said to give her half off each item because of the way our system worked. Lady didn't get that buy one get one free was the same price as half off both items. There's just no hope for some people. Our next story is from Failthuzad. Lady at store thinks she can open food containers to try what's in them. Not the best storyteller, but here goes. I worked at a national grocery store chain for a couple of years and saw this one day. I was stocking the shelves and made my way to the cracker aisle when I saw this lady sitting on one of the motorised carts. She was opening every different flavour of cracker, trying a few and then putting them back on the shelf. I said, Mum, I'm going to have to ask you to stop opening the product before you pay for it. She said, no, you have too many choices and I need to know what they taste like before I buy them. I didn't want to argue with her. It had been a long day already. I went and got my manager and explained the situation. I also pulled the stuff she opened off the shelf. Now she hadn't left yet, so the manager went and spoke to her and got her to agree to leave after she paid for what was in her cart. Manager let her get up to the register after waiting in a long line and began putting all the boxes she opened on the belt. She said, what is this? I'm not buying this. The manager said, you can either buy it or I call the police and report you for shoplifting. She said, good luck with that. Manager has the police called, and after they check the cameras and watch her do it, she gets slapped with the shoplifting charges and she still has to pay for everything she opened. Her total was even higher after that because they saw everything she opened and not just the crackers. I wish I could have seen her face. Goes into a shop and starts opening and trying things. Imagine seeing that picture, someone just sat in an aisle with loads of boxes open around and just thinking that they're actually going to get away with it. Again, it's just one of these crazy mindsets, right? Our next story is from Mossy Manon. The time I caught a shoplifter. Back in the 90s, I was working in a small hardware store when 2 dirty looking guys came in wearing filthy sweaters and jogging pants. Looked like they were homeless and hadn't washed themselves for a week or so. Okay, I thought to myself, I have to keep an eye out on these guys, but I greeted them nicely and welcomed them to the store, asking them if I could be of any assistance. Their reply was that they were just looking around. There was another customer in the store that needed to be checked out, so I had let the guys be and take care of the one that needed my help, and the 2 guys went around the corner of the aisle and out of my sight. When I was taking payment from the other customer, we suddenly heard yelling and screaming for one of the dirty guys behind the aisle. He tried to steal a cordless drill that we had on display and put it down his jogging pants, holding it with his right hand that were in the pocket of said pants. The problem for him, and the reason for the scream, was that the battery was charged, and when he held it, it accidentally pressed a button and started the drill to spin. He yanked out a good amount of pubic hair and was lying on the floor screaming with pain. The other customer blocked the door and I called the police, who were laughing hard when they heard the story. They arrived in a few minutes and the guys were arrested. It still makes me smile when I think of the incident. And a great comment from below, it brings a new meaning to getting screwed. But having your pubes ripped out by a drill, ouch. And our final story is from Sushi Thief. My husband is an attorney. I used to work in the electronics section of a toy store. The holidays are, to say the least, a tad busy. you know, especially with the amount of sales and whatnot going on, and we had a lot of sales. Our sales items, especially for video game accessories, tended to go fast. The problem came when there were items similar or comparable. One would be on sale while the other wasn't, and it made a big mess of things. A lady came in one day, packed store, and lots of chaos. And one of the things she picked up was a video game controller cover. I scanned the item and it comes up as $14. That doesn't sit well with her. The lady says, "The sign says it's $12. Why are you charging me $14?" I said, "The sign is for a similar item, not this one. The sign even indicates the manufacturer." She said, "Well, this controller cover was underneath that sign and I want the discount." I calmly say, "Mom, I can't give you the discount. Customers pick up things and put them down in the wrong place all day in this store. We can't give discounts based off of that. I couldn't even make the computer process the discount if I wanted to." She says, "Don't argue with me. My husband is an attorney. Get a manager to fix this." I said, "Mom, it's going to be a while before a manager can get over here. Even then, she's going to say that you can't get this discount." "Call them over. They will fix this. My husband is an attorney." I call my manager over and proceed to be absolutely useless. I can't leave my register to help people because I'm already mid-transaction. I can't scan the next item or delete the item. I just scanned. Dumb safety measures. And it's taking forever for a manager to come around because there are people who actually need assistance. All the while, the lady in front of me is staring at me, muttering nonsense and reminding me over and over that her husband is an attorney. I'm just sitting there, wanting to snap back with, "And he's going to sue the store for a matter of $2 discount. Of course he was stupid enough to marry you, so maybe he will." Either way, I'm damn sure we can afford better lawyers than the lady who can't fork over $2 extra, but I keep my mouth shut. My manager comes and listens to the lady. To my horror, she approves the discount and immediately leaves because she's flustered and doesn't want to deal with her. I scan the next item from her cart. She said that's not the right price either. Me, having had enough, "It's not on sale. These are right over there," and I point. And the price is displayed clearly. "If you want this changed too, I'm going to have to call the manager again." She said, "Fine, I'm done. I don't want any of it." She leaves her few items at my register. I have to call the manager back over to cancel out the sale and take the stuff to be put away. My manager is of course miffed that the lady was able to waste so much of her time. Oh, and no, we never heard from the mysterious attorney. Of course you didn't hear from the attorney. What I don't understand, if her husband is an attorney, let's face it, attorneys are pretty well paid. Why is she arguing over $2, man? Come on now. I thought there's some sort of rule anyway, some like if they threaten legal action, you tell management immediately and they're meant to deal with the situation straight from there, as soon as they mention it. I'm not sure on that. Yeah, you retail folks will have to let me know. Anyway guys, let me know what you think of today's stories. It would be really helpful. And if you enjoy the content, there's another one on your screen right now, which if you click, it will tell YouTube that you enjoy my content and then tell some others, hopefully, but you never know with YouTube, so I can get my hopes up all I like. If you did enjoy the content, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too, and maybe even consider joining the channel, as it all really helps out. Much love to you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye now.